Did you know that a parent who refuses to set boundaries might actually be more damaging to their child than a parent who's completely absent? I know that sounds shocking, but stick with me because what I'm about to share will completely transform how you think about parenting. Picture this. Little Emma is at the grocery store with her mom. She sees candy and starts screaming for it. Her mom, exhausted from a long day, thinks, "I just want peace," and hands over the candy. Sound familiar? We've all been there. But what if I told you that this seemingly harmless moment is actually rewiring Emma's brain in ways that could sabotage her future success and happiness? Today, we're diving deep into why boundaries aren't just important. They're absolutely critical for your child's brain development, emotional health, and future success. And I'm going to share 5 game-changing strategies that will help you set limits with love, not fear. By the end of this video, you'll understand why saying no to your child is actually one of the most loving things you can do. But first, let me ask you this. When you were growing up, did you have that one rule that drove you absolutely crazy? Maybe it was lights out by 9 or no TV until homework was done. I bet you hated it then, but now you probably realize it taught you discipline and responsibility. That's the power of boundaries. They shape us in ways we don't understand until years later. The neuroscience behind why kids need boundaries. Here's something most parents don't know. When you set consistent boundaries for your child, you're literally building their brain. Specifically, you're developing their prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain. This is the part responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and impulse control. Without proper boundaries, this critical brain region remains underdeveloped, setting your child up for a lifetime of struggles. Think of boundaries like a gym workout for your child's brain. Every time they have to wait their turn, control an impulse, or accept a no, they're doing mental push-ups that strengthen their self-control muscles. Research from Harvard University shows that children who grow up with clear, consistent boundaries have significantly better behavioral outcomes and higher success rates later in life. Let me paint you a picture. When 3-year-old Jake reaches for a hot stove and hears a firm, "No, that's dangerous," his brain is doing something incredible. It's learning cause and effect, developing safety awareness, and most importantly, understanding that someone cares enough to protect him. That no isn't rejection, it's love in action. But here's where it gets interesting. The brain thrives on predictability. When children know what to expect, they feel secure. It's like having a roadmap in an unknown territory. Without boundaries, children live in constant uncertainty, never knowing what's acceptable or what's coming next. This creates chronic stress, which actually impairs brain development. Studies show that children without consistent boundaries often struggle with what psychologists call executive function, the ability to plan, focus, and control impulses. These are the exact skills they'll need to succeed in school, maintain relationships, and build a career. When we fail to set boundaries, we're essentially handicapping our children's future potential. The emotional goldmine: how boundaries build stronger kids. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. Boundaries don't just create well-behaved children. They create emotionally stronger, more confident kids. When a child understands the rules of their world, they develop what psychologists call emotional security. They know they're safe, protected, and cared for. And think about it this way. Imagine driving on a mountain road with no guardrails. Terrifying, right? Now imagine the same road with strong guardrails. Suddenly you can actually enjoy the scenery because you feel secure. Boundaries are your child's guardrails through life. Children with clear boundaries develop better self-esteem. Why? Because when parents consistently enforce rules, children receive the message: you matter enough for me to care about your choices and your future. It's a profound form of emotional validation that says, I love you too much to let you make decisions that could hurt you. Let me share a story. Sarah was a mother who struggled with setting bedtime boundaries. Her 6-year-old son would negotiate, cry, and throw tantrums every night. Sarah would often cave because she hated seeing him upset. But when she finally implemented a consistent bedtime routine with gentle but firm boundaries, something amazing happened. Not only did her son start sleeping better, but his behavior during the day improved dramatically. He became calmer, more focused, and actually seemed happier. Why? Because he finally had the security of knowing what to expect. Boundaries also teach children how to handle disappointment and frustration, crucial life skills. When a child learns they can survive not getting what they want immediately, they develop resilience. They learn that uncomfortable emotions are temporary and manageable. This is the foundation of emotional intelligence that will serve them throughout their lives. The social skills connection. Here's something many parents miss. Boundaries aren't just about individual behavior. They're about teaching children how to function in society. When children learn to respect limits at home, they're actually developing the social skills they'll need for the rest of their lives. A child who learns to share toys isn't just being nice. They're developing empathy and understanding that other people have needs and feelings. A child who learns to wait their turn is developing patience and respect for others. These seemingly simple boundary lessons are actually complex social skill development in disguise. Children who grow up with appropriate boundaries become adults who can maintain healthy relationships. They understand consent, respect personal space, and know how to communicate their own needs while respecting others. They're less likely to end up in toxic relationships because they have a healthy understanding of what appropriate behavior looks like. The permissive parenting trap. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Many well-meaning parents fall into what I call the permissive parenting trap. They think that saying yes to everything makes them the good guy and shows their child love. But here's the harsh truth. Permissive parenting can be more damaging than neglectful parenting. At least children of absent parents learn to be self-reliant. But children of permissive parents often develop what psychologists call learned helplessness. They become dependent on others to make decisions for them because they never learned how to navigate limits and consequences. Permissive parents often justify their approach by saying things like, I just want my child to be happy, or I don't want to damage their creativity. But happiness without boundaries is actually anxiety in disguise. Children need structure to feel secure, and creativity actually flourishes within appropriate limits. 5 game-changing strategies for setting boundaries with love. All right. Now that you understand why boundaries are so crucial, let me share 5 practical strategies that will revolutionize how you approach limit setting with your children. Strategy 1. Crystal clear communication. The first key to effective boundaries is communication that's clear, age-appropriate, and consistent. Children aren't mind readers, and abstract concepts don't work for young minds. Instead of saying, be good, try saying gentle hands with your sister, or inside voices in the restaurant. Always explain the why behind your boundaries. Instead of just saying, no running in the house, try walking inside keeps everyone safe from getting hurt. When children understand the reason behind a rule, they're much more likely to internalize it and follow it, even when you're not around. Consistency is absolutely crucial here. A boundary that exists on Monday but disappears on Friday creates confusion and teaches children that rules are optional. If screen time ends at 7 p.m., it needs to end at 7 p.m. every day, not just when it's convenient for you. Your tone matters just as much as your words. Firm doesn't mean harsh. You can be authoritative while still being warm and empathetic. Try saying something like, "I can see you're disappointed that playtime is over, and that's okay. Now it's time for dinner, and afterward, we can read stories together." Strategy 2. Natural consequences. This is where the magic happens. Instead of arbitrary punishments, let natural consequences teach the lessons. If your child refuses to wear their coat, let them feel cold. Within reason, of course. If they don't put their bike away, it might get rained on. These natural outcomes teach responsibility far more effectively than any lecture ever could. The key is to present these consequences with empathy, not with an "I told you so" attitude. Say something like, "I'm sorry your bike got wet. Tomorrow, we can remember together to put it in the garage." This approach teaches problem-solving skills and personal responsibility without damaging your relationship. Natural consequences also help children develop what psychologists call internal locus of control. The understanding that their choices directly impact their outcomes. This is a crucial mindset for success in all areas of life. Strategy 3. Avoid the authoritarian trap. There's a big difference between being authoritative and being authoritarian. Authoritarian parents rule through fear and control, while authoritative parents guide through love and respect. The goal isn't blind obedience. It's teaching children to make good choices because they understand why those choices matter. Instead of, "Because I said so," try, "I need you to clean your room, because a tidy space helps us feel calm and find things easily." This approach respects your child's intelligence while still maintaining your authority as the parent. Give children choices within your boundaries. Instead of "Put on your shoes," try, "Would you like to put on your sneakers or your boots?" This gives them a sense of autonomy while still achieving your goal. Children who feel they have some control over their lives are much more cooperative. Strategy 4. Validate emotions while maintaining boundaries. Here's a game changer that many parents struggle with. You can acknowledge your child's feelings while still holding firm to your boundaries. In fact, this is one of the most powerful parenting tools you can develop. When your child melts down because they can't have ice cream for breakfast, try saying, "I can see you're really disappointed because ice cream sounds delicious. It's hard when we can't have what we want. Let's choose a healthy breakfast now, and we can plan a special ice cream treat for after dinner." This approach validates their emotions, teaches them that all feelings are acceptable, while not all behaviors are, and maintains the boundary. It also models emotional intelligence by helping them name and understand their feelings. Remember, your job isn't to eliminate your child's negative emotions. It's to help them learn to cope with and understand them. Disappointment, frustration, and sadness are all normal parts of life, and learning to handle these emotions in childhood is crucial for mental health in adulthood. Strategy 5. Model the behavior you want to see. Children are like sponges. They absorb everything they see and hear. If you want your children to respect boundaries, you need to model boundary setting and boundary respecting behavior yourself. This means following through on what you say you'll do, respecting your child's reasonable boundaries, like knocking before entering their room, and managing your own emotions appropriately when things don't go your way. If you make a mistake, and you will, we all do, model how to handle it appropriately. Apologize when necessary. Explain what you'll do differently next time. and show your child that everyone is still learning and growing. The long-term investment, building tomorrow's adults. When you set boundaries for your children today, you're not just managing their current behavior, you're investing in the adults they'll become. The child who learns to wait patiently becomes the adult who can delay gratification for long-term goals. The child who learns to respect others' boundaries becomes the adult who maintains healthy relationships. Research consistently shows that children who grow up with appropriate boundaries become adults with better self-regulation skills, higher emotional intelligence, and greater life satisfaction. They're more likely to succeed academically, maintain stable relationships, and achieve their professional goals. Think about the most successful, well-adjusted adults you know. I'd bet they had parents who loved them enough to set clear, consistent boundaries. They learned early that actions have consequences, that they're capable of handling disappointment, and that love includes accountability. On the flip side, adults who struggle with addiction, toxic relationships, or chronic irresponsibility often trace their problems back to a lack of appropriate boundaries in childhood. Without learning self-control and personal responsibility early in life, they're constantly playing catch-up as adults. The ripple effect, how your parenting impacts future generations. Here's something that should motivate every parent. The way you parent today will influence how your children parent their children. When you set loving, consistent boundaries, you're not just helping your child, you're potentially improving the lives of your future grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Children who grow up with healthy boundaries learn what healthy relationships look like. They're more likely to choose partners who treat them well, and they're more likely to create stable, loving homes for their own children. The investment you make in boundary setting today pays dividends for generations to come. Overcoming common boundary setting challenges. Let me address some of the most common concerns I hear from parents about setting boundaries. But I don't want my child to hate me. Here's the truth. Children don't hate parents who set loving boundaries. They might be frustrated in the moment, but they feel more secure and loved in the long run. Your job isn't to be your child's best friend. It's to be their parent. What if I'm being too strict? There's a difference between being appropriately firm and being overly restrictive. Ask yourself, is this boundary serving my child's best interests? Or is it just about my convenience or control? Healthy boundaries protect and guide. Unhealthy ones simply control. My child has such strong reactions to boundaries. Big emotions are normal, especially when children are learning new skills. Your job is to stay calm and consistent while they learn to regulate their emotions. Remember, you're teaching them a lifelong skill. Creating your family's boundary blueprint. Every family needs a personalized approach to boundaries based on their values, circumstances, and children's individual needs. Start by identifying your core family values. What's most important to you? Safety, respect, kindness, hard work. Your boundaries should support these values. Next, choose your battles wisely. Not every rule needs to be a hill to die on. Focus on the boundaries that truly matter for your child's safety, development, and character building. Save your energy for what's really important. Finally, remember that boundary setting is a marathon, not a sprint. You're building habits and neural pathways that take time to develop. Be patient with yourself and your child as you navigate this journey together. The beautiful truth about boundaries. Here's what I want you to remember. Boundaries aren't about controlling your child. They're about loving them enough to prepare them for life. Every time you hold firm on an important limit, you're telling your child, I believe in your ability to handle this. I care about your future. You're worth the effort it takes to raise you well. the most confident, capable, and emotionally healthy adults I know, had parents who loved them enough to say no when necessary. They had parents who prioritized their long-term well-being over short-term peace. They had parents who understood that true love sometimes means disappointment in the moment for growth in the future. Your journey forward. As we wrap up, I want to encourage you that you don't have to be perfect. Parenting is messy, challenging, and constantly evolving. There will be days when you question your decisions, times when you'll need to adjust your approach, and moments when you'll make mistakes. That's not failure. That's parenting. What matters is your commitment to showing up consistently, learning from your experiences, and always keeping your child's best interests at heart. The fact that you're here, learning about better ways to parent, shows that you're already on the right path. Remember, every boundary you set with love is a gift to your child's future self. You're building their character, developing their resilience, and teaching them that they're worthy of love that includes accountability. You're raising the next generation of adults who will make the world a better place. Start small, be consistent, and trust the process. Your children may not thank you now, but the adults they become will be living proof of your love and dedication. And that, my friend, is a legacy worth building. The choice is yours. You can be the parent who loves enough to set boundaries, or you can be the parent who thinks love means never saying no. I know which one your future adult child will thank you for being. The question is, which parent will you choose to be starting today?